Hello, today's video we have the following content.
It exploded. What happened to this blockbuster? Wang Yibo breaks the circle, achieves cross-border breakthrough, and pays attention to the Olympic Qualification Series. As a hot star, Wang Yibo's influence is unquestionable. As long as he participates in the event is sure to be a packed house, well received and sold out. Wang Yibo promoted the Olympic Qualification Series, not only demonstrating his extraordinary ability to break boundaries and cross boundaries, but also igniting the Olympic qualification competition in Shanghai, triggering heated discussions. Wang Yibo's influence is like a bright star, lighting up the entire entertainment industry. His every move and every word can arouse the enthusiastic pursuit of fans and attract the attention of the public. As a big star, he is not only a leader in the entertainment industry, but also a focal figure in society. Wang Yibo's influence was once again on full display when he promoted the Olympic Qualifying Series. With his unique charm, he pushed this sports event to a climax. His participation not only increased the popularity of the event, but also inspired public enthusiasm for the Olympics. Wang Yibo's publicity activity is not just a simple promotion activity, but also a sports feast with the participation of all people. He used his influence to pass on the spirit of sports to everyone, making more people pay attention to sports. His participation allowed more people to understand the significance and value of the Olympic Games, and also made more people have a strong interest in sports. In general, Wang Yibo's influence is unparalleled. Every time he appears, he arouses public attention and heated discussion. He used his influence to contribute to sports and set an example for society. The movies released on May 1st this year did not seem to spark the craze that the audience expected. Except for the comedy starring Jiabing, only one peacekeeping riot squad showed the style of a large-scale production. However, despite the promising results at the box office, the review section was filled with negative reviews. Netizens expressed their disapproval of the film and questioned that the plot was full of loopholes, which greatly reduced their expectations. This phenomenon may reflect the audience's increasing demands for film quality. In today's fiercely competitive film market, relying solely on star lineup and production costs cannot guarantee the success of a film. Audiences are more concerned about content quality and story expression. Although Peacekeeping Riot Squad invested a lot of resources in its production, if the plot and story are not compact enough and the characters are not three-dimensional enough, it will easily disappoint the audience. The negative reviews in the comment area reflect the audience's demanding requirements for film quality. They want to see more sophisticated and mature works, not just gorgeous appearances and high-cost investments. Therefore, for film producers, in addition to focusing on production costs and star lineups, they should also focus on polishing the script and expressing the story to ensure the quality and enjoyment of the film, so as to win the recognition of the audience and the spread of word of mouth. The plot setting of Peacekeeping Riot Squad was originally intended to show the story of a peacekeeping police team that went abroad to perform tasks at the request of the United Nations. It aimed to show the struggle between justice and racial survival. However, the film was criticized for having a confusing plot and poor acting. Among them, the behavior of the protagonist Yang Zhen was criticized as irresponsible and lacked the cohesion and sense of responsibility of the team members. He disobeyed orders, ignored the safety of his teammates, and acted directly away from the team, posing potential safety risks to the entire team. What is even more ridiculous is that the arrangement of the important task of escorting witnesses in the movie has also been criticized. Why not send more manpower to ensure the smooth progress of the mission? This plot setting is not only illogical, but also goes against common sense. The film's downfall lies mainly in the character's behavior and plotting. Yang Zhen's irresponsible behavior makes the audience feel unable to trust his leadership, let alone feel his character transformation or growth. It is difficult for the audience to relate to such a protagonist because his actions are illogical. Coupled with the absurdity of the task of escorting witnesses, it is difficult for the audience to be attracted by the story, but more focused on the holes in the plot. Additionally, the actors' performance was criticized. They failed to bring their characters to life in a way that allowed the audience to relate to them emotionally. There is not enough chemistry between the characters, leaving the audience unable to be moved by their relationship. This makes the entire movie seem bland and lacks tension and appeal. Overall, there are serious problems in the plot setting and execution of Peacekeepers, which prevents the audience from being invested in the story. Instead, They focused more on the film's logic holes and character performance, making the film a disappointing viewing experience. The heroic plot in the film has also been criticized. Viewers said that the supporting characters were frequently injured and offline to show the growth of the protagonist, but this method was too rigid and lacked logic and rationality. The characters in the film often choose to charge into battle when faced with danger, even without regard for their own safety. This kind of plot design is not only incredible, but also destroys the audience's sense of involvement with the characters, making the film lose its appeal. This method of highlighting the growth of the protagonist by sacrificing supporting characters is often regarded by the audience as a cheap emotional operation. The audience hopes to see more complex and real character relationships, rather than simple sacrifices in exchange for the protagonist's heroic halo. The character's charging behavior in the film is also considered irresponsible, and it is difficult for the audience to understand why the character would take such a risky move, especially in reality such behavior often leads to serious consequences. In addition, this plot device also leaves the audience with an unreal feeling. In real life, people tend to choose a more cautious and rational way to deal with danger, rather than rushing into danger without any scruples. Therefore, the behavior of the characters in the film is often contrary to the audience's perception, making the story lose its persuasiveness and appeal. Peacekeepers has serious problems in the design of the heroic plot, which prevents the audience from being invested in the story. This rigid and unreasonable plot arrangement not only destroys the logic of the story, but also weakens the audience's sense of involvement in the characters, making the film lose its appeal and influence. In terms of actor performance, Peacekeeping Riot Squad was severely criticized. The performances of the leading actors Wang Yibo and Wang Jinggai were criticized for their poor acting skills and their inability to realistically portray their characters. Yang Zhen, played by Wang Yibo, was criticized for insufficient emotional expression and too stiff performance, which was far from previous works. Wang Jinggai was accused of lacking a sense of reality and his performance was exaggerated and rigid, making it difficult for the character to resonate with the audience. As the leading actor, Wang Yibo's performance in this movie failed to meet the audience's expectations. The audience thought that his performance of the character's emotion seemed a bit stiff and lacked depth and tension, making it difficult for the character to resonate with the audience. In comparison, his previous work performed better, leaving audiences disappointed with his performance in Peacekeepers. Wang Jinggai's performance has also been questioned. The audience believes that his performance is exaggerated and rigid, lacking a sense of reality. He failed to show the character's inner world, making the character look flat and thin. The audience found it difficult to relate to and be moved by his performance. Wang Yibo and Wang Jinggai's performance in Peacekeeping Riot Squad failed to meet the audience's expectations. Their acting skills were considered poor and they failed to truly portray their characters. This is also one of the important reasons why the film has been criticized, because the performance of the actors directly affects the audience's acceptance of the story and characters. Taken together, Peacekeeping Riot Squad has major problems in plot setting, character creation, and actor performance, which ultimately led to it presenting a movie that is difficult to resonate with the audience. As an audience, we expect domestic films to present more realistic, rigorous and immersive works, and the emergence of Peacekeeping Riot Squad is undoubtedly a disappointment. I hope that more excellent film and television works will appear in the future and bring more exciting audiovisual feasts to the audience. As an audience, we have high expectations for domestic films, hoping that they can show colorful stories and deep inner lives of characters. However, the various problems of Peacekeepers prevent the audience from being invested in the story and making it difficult for them to resonate. This also reminds film producers that scripts, actor selection, and production levels need to be more careful in order to create better and more engaging works. With the continuous development of China's film industry, we believe that more and more excellent works will emerge to present an even more exciting audiovisual feast to the audience. I hope that future movies will be closer to life and more real, allowing audiences to think and understand while enjoying them, and become a bridge for cultural exchanges and artistic expression.
Thank you for watching the video. If this is your first time watching a video, please subscribe to the channel, like and leave your comments to help us develop your channel.